Hello, hello, hello. So we are live on QUOINE in the QUOINE headquarters here with Seth. And yeah, we're ready for, first of all, we're doing an interview, a quick catch up background, and then we'll chat about, so all right, hey guys, we've got our first viewer and we're live here on the QUOINE headquarters in Tokyo with Seth, and we're ready to take questions. The way we're going to coordinate this is we'll do a bit of an interview with our community, so interview with Seth, and then we're also monitoring Telegram and some of our social media channels. So if you've got any questions, then we'll answer them live. So throw your questions in the Telegram community, which is CanYa community. You can search on Telegram, and we'll take your questions after this interview. Yep. So go ahead, Seth.
Great. Hi, everybody. So me again. We are very pleased to announce that from today, I believe the orders are already available and trading has already started, but the CAN token from the CanYa team has been made available on QRYPTOS. And you'll be able to see it today on against ETH, BTC, and soon Cash. So we're very pleased to have JP Thor Bjornsson. I actually practiced that 3 times. I still think I got it wrong. But JP is visiting us here today in our offices in Tokyo, and really excited to have you here, JP.
Thank you.
And so we want to learn more about JP, about the project, and kind of what's next.
Sure.
So let's start off with, I'm always interested to know people's backgrounds and what you were doing before blockchain came about and before CanYa really came about.
Sure. So I studied aeronautical engineering at university in Australia. I flew with the Air Force for a number of years. And then I kind of got obsessed with technology, and I entered the technology space. And as you know, I'm CEO of CanYa, which is very passionate about. And let's talk more about how I entered cryptocurrency. So I think that's a lot more relevant to what we're talking here. So I first was introduced to cryptocurrencies in 2013, middle of 2013, when Bitcoin was about $100. And I read the Bitcoin white paper, bitcoin.org/Bitcoin and was completely blown away by the gravity of the technology that was proposed, peer-to-peer digital currency. But most importantly is, and what captivated me, was that it's self-sovereign, that your wealth is your own, and no bank can freeze it, no agency can take it from you. And if you own your private keys, then you own your wealth. And that was extremely exciting to me. So from 2013 onwards, deeply passionate about crypto, just from a personal point of view. And then it was only early last year that we moved into doing our own ICO. In a peer-to-peer marketplace of services. So that's the background.
So when did you first, do you remember the first Bitcoin transaction you had either sent or received?
Yeah, it was a grueling event. I had to sign up to some dodgy, I did actually use Mt. Gox for my first one. It was some dodgy Australian local Bitcoins. I had to wire someone my cash from a bank account, and then hopefully show up in my blockchain.info wallet back in the day. And I actually kept a lot of Bitcoin on blockchain.info for a number of years. And then that's why I started exploring the exchanges. I called them Mt. Gox at the time. I signed up. I lost a bit of Bitcoin when Mt. Gox went down. And as well BTC back in the day. So it was very nerve-wracking. I had no idea what I was doing. And learn all in the process.
I always find it ironic that where Mt. Gox, sort of the source of the biggest disaster in the Bitcoin world, is based here in Tokyo. Now Japan is sort of taking a very proactive approach with the licensing regime and establishing sort of a clear, regulated and monitored exchange environment where participants on the exchanges know that the exchanges themselves are monitored and they're doing customer protections, and I think these things are actually quite related in some ways. But okay, so that's how we got into Bitcoin. Then let's move on. Let's fast forward to CanYa. And what was the first sort of inkling you had about how you could, develop a project where you're kind of disrupting the finding and sort of distribution of professional services.
Yeah, sure. So from where we saw it was, we're trying to, at the time, disrupt local services by creating a marketplace which connected you directly with your provider. And then we recognize with global digital services and cryptocurrencies that you can disrupt a peer-to-peer marketplace such as Upwork from a global level. You don't need to, with borderless cash and borderless identity and borderless data, you can create a global community and powered by tokens. And fundamentally, I strongly align with aligning everyone, giving everyone the correct economic incentivization. So, for example, in a traditional company that's limited by shares, there's this constant extraction of value out of the user base. There's one-way kind of transaction towards the shareholders. But in a token-powered economy, everyone has the same unit of value, and everyone essentially participates in the success of the venture. So number one, the barriers of entry can be really, really low. So you can have really low fees because you don't need that constant extraction of value. And number two is everyone gets to participate in the success of the company. And that's very disruptive and very exciting.
So let's take us through like a use case of how the CanYa platform and the token is disrupting professional services. We could pick, I don't know, some sort of industry, maybe in something that's a local industry, and then you could talk about, I'm interested about a global type of service and how that can be disrupted using the platform as well.
Yeah, so we're trying to essentially take on Upwork. So essentially with Upwork, people sign up and create accounts, and then when they engage with the developer, they engage through the Upwork servers, and Upwork holds the data. And when they pay the developer, Upwork takes money off their credit card and escrows it for a short time before paying the provider. We think that's completely unnecessary. We think that the wealth does not need to be transmitted through servers, and that it does not need to be held on those servers. So with blockchain technology, we can do that. So your wallet stays your own wallet, and it's funded into an escrow account, which is held on the blockchain. And when the job is completed, and that value is then released towards the provider, and it never needs to go through our servers. Additionally, we can, another big thing that's a fundamental problem with traditional marketplaces is the fees are high. So Uber takes 30%, Upwork takes between 10 and 20%. The fees are really high. And who are those fees paying for? What are they paying for? They're paying for customer service, arbitration, curation, and all things that a centralized company are trying to do. But in a token-powered economy, you can you can engage your community to perform those services. Your community can help curate. Your community can help moderate. Your community can help run the platform. So your fees can be really, really low. That's what we're trying to do.
Have you thought about integrating the CanYa platform? In other words, using sort of endorsements or weightings of the providers based on feedback from previous jobs that they've participated in, and incorporating that? Or is that already built into the platform where if you're sourcing someone, you can already get an idea of the value that people place on that person's work in the past?
Yeah, so essentially, I think you're talking about reputational management and attestation.
Yes.
So one of the problem is that people, they create fake accounts and they get their friends to review them. So they boost their profile through fake reviews and such, etc. Now with blockchain technology, we can essentially assert attestation on the blockchain. So it is true, real, unique accounts, and nobody can fake it. And that's exciting because it means the curation cost and the customer service cost is much lower. Which again goes back to the barrier of entry, which is why we only want to create 1% fees. I just noticed, Seth, that some of our community are asking us questions.
Sure.
So there's one question here from Mr. Anthony. And the question is, when will freelancers be able to use the CanYa coins to purchase everyday consumer items? That's a good question. One of our community actually suggested a week ago that they wanted to create a CanYa coin accepted here sticker and stick it on the back of the ice cream van or the stall or even the shop. and then people can start paying in CanYa Coin, which is fascinating because it's we want to the CanYa Coin will power the CanYa ecosystem, which is a digital global marketplace. But hey, it still transmits value. So that was a great suggestion, and we're actually looking into it seriously, where we create, CanYa Coin accepted here, and onboard merchants around the world to just stick on the ice cream van or the mobile store, and they can take CanYa Coin as a payment because it can transmit video, so transmit value.
Absolutely, sure. Or they could go to an exchange like QUOINE and exchange it for Ethereum and Bitcoin, and perhaps accept it that way.
Yeah. Cool. So just a bit of feedback that audio is a little bit difficult. So we'll let's take that.
Yeah.
We'll just bring it a bit closer with the microphone, and hopefully this is a little bit easier to hear, guys. Cool. So Mr. Anthony, thanks. Great answer. So I'm happy to answer your question there. And cool. Chris, the Chief Marketing Officer of CanYa, has just jumped in a question. Tell us a bit more about the cryptocurrency potential of Bountysource. So Bountysource is a very exciting platform whereby we are essentially creating a marketplace to connect open source developers with teams that need open source software solved. So the big problem with blockchain technology and smart contracts is that the code can be viewable by anyone. So a lot of people can look through the code and look through vulnerabilities. And we saw this last year twice with Parity Multisignature wallet. The first time a hacker stole a lot of money out of the Multisignature account by siphoning off funds. And then people noticed it, and a white hat hacking group were able to hack the rest of the accounts faster than the bad guys. So the good guys hacked faster than the bad guys and was able to rescue the funds. And a little while later, the company behind the smart contract corrected it and reissued the smart contract. And one community member noticed a vulnerability, but it wasn't taken seriously at the time. Then fast forward to October, and DevOps 199 was able to not exploit that vulnerability because it's somewhat as an accident, but he ended up killing and suiciding the framework behind the multi-signature wallet and froze around about almost, I would say, it's about 270,000 Ether, which today has a market price of almost $250 million, frozen in those multi-signature wallets. And the awesome thing about it is, well, not awesome, but the unique thing about it is that if Parity had taken seriously the community's feedback, then we may not have seen that happen. So with Bountysource, we want to encourage that. We want to get software code out to thousands of developers around the world and motivate them, economically incentivize them to look through the code, look for vulnerabilities and issues, and be rewarded for fixing that. So that's our vision for Bountysource this year. We're very excited to pair it with the CanYa token. We've got 47,000 developers on the platform. Great teams such as Microsoft, Uber, Facebook, IBM use the platform, and we're very, very excited about that potential.
Okay. Let's talk about other aspects of the CanYa roadmap, and what is your next major milestone that the team's working on?
Awesome. So milestones, roadmaps, all the good stuff. So I'm very pleased to say that we've had a good few weeks of issuing the token, KYC, and auditing our KYC, and as you know, listing on secondary markets, of which today we're very happy to list on QRYPTOS because it's a very good exchange, it's regulated, and it will do a lot for our brand, and we're very excited about the partnership. And over the next month, February into March, we are starting to push out the product. And the first things that you'll start seeing is you'll start seeing changes around Bountysource as we freshen up the user experience and the user interface. And then obviously, as you know, in March will be the launch of the new CanYa platform. We're very excited about that. And then beyond that, as part of the roadmap, we want to start building out the core technology. Currently, it will be a centralized app because, truthfully, the decentralized technology stack that needs to be built is not yet mature. So I hate to say it, but Ethereum is not scalable yet for what we needed to do. Decentralized databases out there are not really usable yet. Decentralized payment systems require too much gas fees. So we're looking across a wide range of protocols. And we're going to run proof of concepts and R&D so that we can build a completely decentralized technology stack from the database layer, the storage layer, the compute layer, the payments layer, and finally the governance layer. We're going to only integrate mature technology because it presents a user experience well. So over the course of this year, we're working very hard to do that so that we maintain the best user experience possible. But obviously at the door, we're going to have full CanYa support as a payment option on the platform.
Fantastic.
Cool. And we just had another question from our community, from Joseph. What are you planning to do in regards to marketing the app after it goes global? Well, that's a very good question. And we have 20% of our total supply in our rewards pool. And we are going to use that in order to economically incentivize our user base for world adoption. And right now, we are doing the world's biggest coordinated airdrop with Earn.com. And as you might have noticed today, our Telegram has just completely blown up. It's gone from 6,000 members to 9,000 members in one day as part of our Earn.com initiative. And we're providing an airdrop to the entire user base of Earn.com, which is 150,000 people. So the idea is, imagine if we could have, over the course of 2 weeks, add potentially, over 100,000 new CAN token holders all around the world. They're passionate about the ecosystem and learn more. So those kind of marketing strategies is how we can go global. So that was a great question from Joseph. How we're going to go global and initiatives like that. And we've got many more to come.
Fantastic. I thought there was a good question in there about how, say, a decentralized platform like CanYa can offer a better experience for both employers as well as providers versus a centralized type of service.
Sure. So for providers, cheapest. So we will have a 1% fee compared to our competitors who have anything from 10% through 30%. So already we're 10 times cheaper for our providers. So that means more money, that's more wealth that stays with them, because we don't need that. We don't need to extract that cost out of our providers. So providers get a bigger cut. And for our users, it means they can access providers all around the world who have correct reputation, that's not fake, that hasn't been manipulated, and know that they can connect with a provider who is real, genuine, and wants to get the job done. Yeah.
And what is the scope of the industries really where this decentralized manner of bringing together the providers and the hiring, is there any limit to it? Do you see it only, say, in the technology industry, or what's your vision?
Yeah, so decentralization and how does that impact everything? So we've discussed building decentralized technology stack, but the last frontier, Seth, is the decentralized governance, where right now the companies all around the world are centralized companies with centralized ecosystems and technology. But what we're going to do now with CanYa is create a decentralized application, but still centralized governance. And then finally, the final frontier is a decentralized application with decentralized governance, where the entire ecosystem is powered by its users and their resources, from the compute layer, the nodes, the compute power, the storage, and finally the decision making. Now, the regulatory environment for that is not conducive right now. So we're working in the respective jurisdictions. And this will probably happen in 2, maybe 3 years, where we can safely do that and that is supported to create an ecosystem of providers and users where they get to run it. And that's exciting.
So how does that look when you want to offer the platform in a new jurisdiction? What is your approach in terms of understanding the legal frameworks and the regulations in that particular area? Do you have to engage with a lot of law firms, or?
Yeah, so we're seeing a large movement into this, and there are some countries that are taking a very proactive step. Gibraltar is one. So they created the distributed ledger technology framework, which is principles based, and it's not black and white. And it's very supportive of cryptocurrency companies to come in and demonstrate that they can adhere to 9 core principles. And then, pardon me, and then they are free to build platform of the future. And as long as they maintain those principles of integrity, mind and matter, and such, etc. in Gibraltar, then Gibraltar will, DLT framework will support whatever they want to build. Decentralized exchange, a decentralized organization, etc., etc. But fundamentally behind it, the entity needs to be essentially a foundation that's limited by guarantee and doesn't have shareholders. Shareholders are kind of they don't really work well with token holders. So you want to get rid of the shareholders, and you only want a foundation, which is limited guarantee, and you want to ensure that the foundation is not there to make money. The foundation is just to caretake and guide the ecosystem going forward.
Sure. Can you talk a little bit about the growth of the platform? I see this question here about the number of users you expect by Q2 this year.
Quarter 2 2018. So we have 47,000 users on Bountysource, and about 10,000 on CanYa at the moment. And as you know, right now we've got 9,000 members in Telegram, almost 70,000 in Facebook, about 15,000 on Twitter. So our community is big, but we want to be bigger. We want to really push hard, and to be honest, if we keep doing what we're doing with our partnerships, listing on great exchanges like QUOINE, and with N.com, airdrop, then we can truly create a global community that's passionate and can help us build this platform. Yeah, that's kind of stuff we do.
And question about metrics in terms of, say, one of the metrics you look at in exchanges is trade volumes, notional value traded on a day. What are the metrics you use when every day you come to the office and you look at what's going on in your business? What are your metrics?
My metrics are community sentiments. So first thing I do is I jump on Telegram. I read every single comment, every single post, and I try and get a feel for the community and what's everyone thinking. What do they want today? Where what's the issues? And I sit down with the team and we try and solve those issues. When we make decisions, we're in the Telegram reading everyone's content, figure out if what we should do in our decision making. So we're very, very responsive, proactive to the sentiments of our community. And primarily, that's my decision making. Is what do the community want today, and what do they want tomorrow? And we're always thinking ahead for that.
Awesome.
Yeah. All righty. Well, we might just do maybe 2 or 3 more questions.
Yeah. Let's see if we've got any good questions from the
All right.
community.
So Michael from Norway, so it's got some great questions. What kind of tasks can the CanYa community help you with? Translation of the app. Well, the interesting thing about that, Michael, from Norway, is we can crowdsource help from the community, and we've already done that. So our moderators in the Telegram group are from our own community. Michael, Steve, Audit, fantastic, and we're going to keep doing that. And we are the HODL OG and the HODL Club. So the HODL Club was the brainchild of the Chief Marketing Officer last year. And essentially, we're trying to build this exclusive club of people who are long-term CanYa OGs. They're going to be there with us through thick and thin, because we're going to be here as well. And the hodlers, as long as they meet a minimum amount of CAN token holdership, which is 2,500 CAN, then they get invited into this club, very exclusive, with lifetime benefits. There's only one rule. The only rule is there is no rule. No, the only rule is you are never, well, not allowed, but if you move one single token, you get kicked out of the HODL club.
Okay.
Because you're not hodling.
Okay.
So the HODL club members and the HODL OGs who have been with us since the ICO will have lifetime benefits, lifetime airdrops, lifetime merchandise, well, as long as there's airdrops available, merch, t-shirts, coins, invitations to conferences, invitations to our events. Yeah, we'll definitely look after our hodlers.
Okay.
Because they're the team that we want.
Sign me up. Sign me up.
2,500 CAN is, if you have more than 2,500 CAN tokens, then we'll invite you to our HODL club.
And in fact, you could buy those 2,500 CAN right now on QUOINE with BTC or ETH and very soon cash.
Excellent. Excellent. All right.
Great.
Everyone, please sign up on QUOINE. and participate in the new listing. The coins are on there right now to trade with. And yeah, there's a whole bunch of other awesome tokens coming up. Do you want a quick spiel on some upcoming tokens?
Quick spiel. I think you guys have seen we've really started to focus on our offerings on QUOINE. We're now starting to offer a new token every day. We're working with really innovative projects and entrepreneurs, just like JP. And we have a lot of exciting tokens coming up. Even the rest of this week, some of these tokens will be the first exchange. Very proud to offer those tokens to the world. And you know, when you sign up, you'll see about the announcements of these early stage tokens, as well as, you know, I think we always want to talk about with our community is we're very getting close to launching our own ICO platform where token issuers and buyers will be able to really disrupt the way capital is being formed and the way capital providers and consumers are meeting one another. So we'll have more news on that very soon. But for the rest of this week, we have new listings coming up every single day. So really excited about it, and hope you guys will be interested in the new offerings available on the exchange.
Awesome. All right. Thanks, Seth.
Thank you, JP.
Thanks for the invitation.
Pleasure.
And we'll chat to you guys later.
Okay. Bye, everyone.